From the Broadcast Center at BCIT's Burnaby Campus, this is All Talk Radio. You're listening to 1680 The Crow.
Welcome to your 2:30 news. I'm Melanie Levesque, and this is 1680 The Crow. A school bus crashed into a home in Burnaby, leading to 11 people being sent to hospital. The crash was involved with two other vehicles and took place on Canada Way. Although it is unclear if those that were sent to hospital were students or staff, emergency services have stated that the victims were sent to hospital in stable condition. Adrian Strigra is a resident of the building the bus collided with. He says the bus slammed into his bedroom, and if he would have been there when the bus crashed into his bedroom, he would have been crushed.
That I didn't believe it. Then I was, in shock, and then upset, angry, emotional, just tons of things going through me like that. And now I'm worrying about we're waiting for an engineer before they pull out the bus, so I don't even know if I'm going to have a place to stay.
To respond to the incident, emergency services dispatched 6 ambulances to the scene. 2 Jewish schools were hit by gunshots overnight. No one was inside the schools when they were shot at, so staff discovered the bullet holes when they came to work this morning. Earlier this week, a synagogue and an office belonging to a Jewish advocacy organization were hit by firebombs. Yair Slack, the president of Federation CJA, says he recognizes the role of hate in these crimes.
There's hate speech going on every rally, and we see it and hear it. The SPVM is well aware of it, and I believe are investigating what can be done in terms of preventing and stopping the hate speech that is taking place. There is no question in our mind that there is a direct correlation between hate speech and the actions that we've seen this week.
In response to the shootings, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau says Canadians must stand up against discriminatory violence and hate. Air Canada is issuing an apology for the mistreatment of passengers with disabilities. This comes after several incidents, including one where a passenger had to drag himself off an aircraft. Going forward, the airline is speeding up a 3-year accessibility improvement plan. BC Green Party leader Sonia Fursanew says she has removed the party's deputy leader, Dr. Sanjif Gandhi. Fursanew says she made this decision because Gandhi liked a social media post comparing BC's provincial health officer, Dr. Bonnie Henry, to a Nazi doctor. She also stated that she has accepted Gandhi's resignation as a candidate. Finance Minister Christina Freeland is expected to table the federal government fall economic statement on November 21st. Emily Jascosi of the Canadian Press has more.
The mini-budget is set to offer an update on federal finances, as well as new measures that reflect the government's priorities. Freeland has promised that the fall economic statement will focus on housing and affordability, 2 issues dominating federal politics that are top of mind for Canadians. The latest Fiscal Monitor report from the Finance Department said the federal government posted a $4.3 billion deficit between April and August. Emily Joveski, The Canadian Press.
Canada is currently seeking over 100,000 new blood donors. BCIT reporter Aaliyah Andres has more.
Like many services affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, blood donations saw a sharp decrease in donors. With blood only having a 42-day shelf life, donors are consistently in demand in blood types across the board. Community Development Manager Craig Nielsen with the Canadian Blood Services says this year alone, thousands of donors are in demand to replace those who can no longer donate.
Each year we're looking for, this year specifically, we're looking for over 100,000 new donors, and this is not only from residual effects of COVID, but just, new donors, replacing people that are reaching other points of their life that might not be able to donate anymore.
Nielsen notes that men are able to donate blood approximately every 65 days and women every 84 days. Aaliyah Andres, 1680, The Crow.
Today it is 9 degrees in Vancouver and it's mostly cloudy. For the rest of the day, you can expect showers beginning this afternoon. Looking out into the remainder of the week, rainy conditions are expected with a high of 10 degrees and a low of 6 degrees. That's all for today's 2:30 news. I'm Melanie Levesque, and this is 1680 The Crow.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikakane.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Trettenaro.
And I'm Radhika Sikakane. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.
I'm on the top of the world looking down one creation, and the only explanation I can find. There's a lot that I found ever since you've been around. Your love's put me at the top of the world. journal season. 50 years old. I am currently working as home support worker or caregiver. I moved to Canada October 28, 2008. We are 11 siblings. Very poor. Kasi ang nanay ko is plain housewife. And then ang tatay was before he was working in a logging. And then nagkaroon siya ng accident, nagkaroon siya ng knee injury. And so from that on, ano na lang kami sa farm. Ako naman, working students din ako. From, if I remember, nag-i-start na ako like grade 4 na tumutulong na doon sa barangay captain namin, meron silang store. So tumutulong na ako doon sa store. And then nagkaroon yun ng mga like NPA military encounter. So nag-declare ng no man's land sa barangay namin. So pumunta kaming town, and then doon na nag-start na tumitira na ako ng unti-unti doon para ako ang inampon din, barangay captain namin. Simpleng pangarap ko, like, laptop, like, ang anak ko gustong malamig kasi nung na-hospital siya, ayaw niya niyang lumabas kasi daw sabi niya may aircon. So, simpleng ganong pangarap. Hindi ko mabibili. Dahil talagang, kahit at night, I was working, kasi mostly talaga panggabi ako. At night, I was working, and then punta ako sa umaga after mag-pick up ng mga paninda. So wala talaga, hindi talaga kasya.
My name is Raquel Narway. I'm 38 years old. At the moment, I'm working as a maintenance planner. So, my life in the Philippines was really, 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 really hard. Like, I would say that I'm probably one of the most, like, I would say superlative, most and poorest person in the Philippines. I grew up on top of the mountain, no electricity, no proper water filtration and everything like that. I had to walk 5 kilometers one way to go to school every day when I was like a kid. And then my father died when I was 13 years old, and my mother was left with 6 kids. So just imagine, my mom didn't have a proper job really. So just imagine the struggle that we had. We had to dig something from the forest for us to be able to eat on that day. And sometimes we just sleep without eating anything. I work in high school. I got scholarship in college, and I was able to finish my degree. And after that, I just went on and on with looking for opportunities here and there, like in the Philippines or out of the country. I was already earning good money, but I was not contented, I guess. I mean, I was looking for more opportunities because at that time my mom was sick and I really wanted her to have a better life. So I found more opportunities online, and I found an employer here in Canada. So that's when I came here as a nanny.
So I'm Claire, 28 years old, office manager. I'm currently studying as an international student. Well, my family are in the upper middle class. So I can say na privileged enough kami na, actually I don't necessarily need to move here technically to work my ass off. Like, I'm not sending money to the Philippines, and I feel like I'm happy, lucky, and grateful na ganun yung setup na binigay sa akin ng mundo. I'm gay ever since I was 6 years old. Medyo tanggap ko na kasi na ganun sa Philippines. But for my partner, I think isa sa mga reasons niya talaga for moving here, like for accepting my invitation to move here, was pagdating dito, we can get married. I just feel guilty na parang syempre maganda yung position niya sa Philippines and okay naman yung salary niya, like it's not middle, it's like higher than the usual in the Philippines. So I just feel like ngayon iba-ibang jobs yung na-explore niya, and she has no choice but to be flexible. Unlike sa Philippines, kumbaga alam na niya na she's an operations manager. And, you know, it's like sa business side and everything. But in here, we're quite restricted kasi bilang international students and open work permit, hindi pa kami pwede gumawa ng any business here. So, it's like we're just in here, you know, sort of to survive. Survival mode muna.
Though we were in poverty in the Philippines, we were poor in the Philippines and never experienced taking care of other people's kids. So I had to learn, you know, how to change diapers, how to clean houses, because when I was in the Philippines, even we were living on top of the mountain, my father was like, just go and study, we'll do everything for you. So when I arrived here, I was like, I imagined myself crying while when the kid I was watching vomit on me. I was like, I never experienced this. Like, even I was poor, I never experienced being other people's maid. Why am I doing this? I was crying while I was cleaning his vomit. I was like, I was a professional teacher in the Philippines. Everybody called me ma'am. So I was like, what am I doing here? But then in my mind, you know what? I am here for a reason, and that reason was for me to have a better life, to give my family back home a better life.
Ang nag-sponsor sa akin, unang employer, is childcare. Napunta ako sa Kinel. For some reason, hindi kami nag-click talaga. Finire ako, na nag-work lang ako sa kanila ng 1 month. Ang gusto ng employer na yon, i-transfer ako sa Chiliwak. Mayroon daw silang kaibigan dyan, Chiliwak na employee, na willing na sa akin, mag-take over. Sabi ko, I choose to stay doon sa kay auntie. Ayoko sumama. Nagalit sila. Alam mo, finire ako that day, pinatayan ako ng ilaw, na wala din akong kamalay-malay. Talagang inosente ako, umakyat pa ako. Sabi ko, ma'am, ang tawag ko, ma'am, wala na akong ilaw. Tapos talagang dinidma ako. That was November 28, sa Conel, kasagsagan ng snow. Pack your things in 10 minutes or else we will throw sa snow, sabi. Pababa ako, kasi dahil sila pababa ako. Ang dinasal ko lang, Lord, ang dasal ko lang, Lord, padalhan mo ako ng tao na maghatid sa akin. Mga ilang minuto lang, wala yatang minuto, segundo, may truck na pag ganong direction, pag ganito kami, pag ganong direction. Tapos, alam mo, umikot siya. Sabi niya, is somebody pick you up? No, sabi ko, no, my employer just fired me. Tapos umiiyak na ako. Tapos sabi niya, oh, where are you going? Sabi ko, I don't know the address, but I know how to, kasi nga naglakad ako, I know how to go there. Tapos alam mo ba, tinuro ko lang sa kanya yung daan, natuntun ko yung bahay nila, Auntie Bibang.
Bata pa lang po talaga ako, parang wala pa po akong malay, hindi ko na po siya nakikita. I think I remember po one time, uuwi po siya ng Pinas, pero sabi po ng tita ko, yung nag-alaga po sa akin na, dadating yung friend ni mama mo, pipick upin natin yung camera ang pinadala niya. Tapos pagdating po ng airport, niyakap po niya ako. Siya po pala yung nanay ko. Kasi po sabi ko, hindi ko po kilala. Wala na po akong nakilalang hardworking na ibang tao katulad ng nanay ko.
Uuwi naman, di ba?
Kahit po lahat ng friends namin, like ng mga close family friends, alam po nila. Wala pong na-attend na birthday yan kasi laging nasa work. Alam dito po parang big adjustments. Kasi po kahit yung papa ko hindi ko po kasama sa Pilipinas. So, nung pagdating po dito parang nakakabigla na, dalawang tao kasama mo na hindi mo masyadong ka-close. Ganun.
I'm Vincent, I'm 23 years old, and I work for TransLink as a social media content creator. Moving here with my mom and living with her permanently it's really weird. It's really weird. I mean, I was happy, obviously. Like, between me and my brother, I'm more close to my mom than he is because I guess we're both females, and I guess that's one factor. And I borrow her clothes. I'm more like steal, but I'll say borrow. I moved to Canada, like I said, when I was 16, and so I guess I have my own way of thinking, and you know, I don't know how old she was when I moved, but I don't know, it's different when you, I guess, can establish the relationship early on in life than establishing that relationship later. My mom's working, you know, when we were here, when we just moved here, obviously she's working all the time, and she had 2 jobs at the time. And so there's not really a lot of time for her kids unless it's her day off.
My name is Tiffany Epistola. I am 25 years old and I am a nurse. My dad was 15 years old when he immigrated here from the Philippines, and my mom was in college. My parents don't really understand the importance of rest. They're constantly going because of how they feel towards like making ends meet, right? And so because of that, I feel like they neglected their mental health a lot, and that impacted me a lot as a child.
Kasi po yung nanay ko, hindi po siya yung type na ma-showy sa love. Like yung sa salita, sa actions po talaga. Like kunyari, bibigay niya na lang po yung mga kailangan mo, like di mo naman inaas. Umiyak ma. Yun po, like, sobrang na-appreciate ko lang po siya nung lalo na lumabas si Ellie.
Something that I want to say to my parents is obviously thank you for your sacrifice. Your sacrifice is something that I will never understand. Probably will never, yeah. Will never understand what it's like to uplift your entire life and move over to a place that's so foreign to you. You know, having to relearn a new language, new customs, new traditions, like a whole different culture, just so you can promise your kids a better life. So that takes so much guts and courage and resilience. Another thing I'd like to say is that there's no manual on how to be the perfect parent. There's no manual for life in general, right? But then as a second-gen immigrant, I need to, I guess, like realize that, you know, they're doing the best with what they know. And I am also doing the best with what I know. And as long as we continue finding a place, like a middle ground, then, you know, there's no problems at all. I feel like, from the bottom of my heart, thanks to my parents. And I love them a lot.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikakane.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Trettenaro.
And I'm Radhika Sikakane. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.
From the Broadcast Center at BCIT's Burnaby Campus, this is All Talk Radio. You're listening to 1680 The Crow.
Good afternoon. You're listening to 1680 The Crow. I'm Jocelyn Chappelle with your 3 p.m. news headlines. Over 100 Rogers technicians protested outside of the company's Vancouver tower today. Our reporter Jake McGrail went to the protest and spoke with reps from their union, the United Steelworkers.
What do we want? Fair contract! Now! Fair contract! Now!
The chants from the locked out workers were loud and continuous as they marched around the base of Rogers Tower in downtown Vancouver. There is currently no set date for when negotiations will resume. United Steelworkers staff representative Jason Little says what's particularly drawn the ire of the USW is Rogers allegedly bringing in temporary workers to continue to do maintenance and service jobs.
They are continuing to go in people's homes in Vancouver, Surrey, Langley, Richmond, and Burnaby. If you have anybody coming into your home or business, they are a scab worker.
Rogers said in a statement yesterday that to continue operations, they are, quote, redeploying employees and contractors, end quote. Jake McGrail, 1680 The Crow.
Our reporter Jake McGrail has returned from the strike and joins us now live in studio. Jake, what will the USW want to do next if this action doesn't lead to any new negotiations?
Well, what Jason Little told me when I spoke with him is that they want to keep putting pressure on Rogers both through the protests and also attracting media attention. On top of that, they also want to keep putting pressure on the federal government to introduce new legislation that'll stop these what they call scab workers filling in for their union workers during protests like this.
And will that legislation potentially come soon?
Well, the federal government just this morning did table a bill that would prevent that type of action from occurring. However, it still has to go through all the processes in Ottawa, and so if it is passed, it won't come into effect for a while yet.
Okay, thanks, Jake. There's exciting local news for Marpole Community Centre as groundbreaking took place yesterday on the future building site. The development of a new 42,000 square foot community centre is long awaited and official construction will begin later this fall. The new centre will provide several key amenities such as a gymnasium, childcare centre, outdoor performance spaces, and gathering areas. It is anticipated to open in 2025 and the existing community centre will be demolished the following year. The deputy BC Green leader has been fired after liking a post that compares Bonnie Henry and a Nazi doctor, known for performing deadly experiments on prisoners during the Second World War. Dr. Sanjeev Gandhi has resigned as Green candidate in the 2024 provincial election as well, which was accepted by Green leader Sonia Furstenau. Premier David Eby says Furstenau made the right call in accepting Gandhi's resignation. Eby calls the former deputy leader's actions unacceptable. Here's a clip from Eby from the Canadian Press.
I think that Sonia Furstenau made the right call, and I certainly support her in what must have been a difficult but necessary decision. And, you know, generally speaking, I think it's probably helpful for everybody to remember that these public servants who go out there and do their best, you know, they're not secret agents of a great conspiracy.
Two contenders for Ontario Liberal leadership are banding together in an effort to stop Mississauga Mayor Bonnie Crombie from finishing at the top. Liberal MP and former Cabinet Minister Vassar Naqvi and Liberal MP Nate Erskine-Smith are urging their supporters to put the other candidate as their second choice on the ranked ballots. Naqvi says they share many similar values. Here's the Canadian Press with the audio.
We've come to realize that we have a lot in common. We have the same dreams and aspirations and vision when it comes to the future of our party, the Ontario Liberal Party, and our province in particular.
The federal government is providing nearly $185 million to help fund 2 hydro projects in Manitoba. Premier Wab Kineau says the projects will provide more employment opportunities for people who've left the province. Here's the Canadian Press with an audio clip.
But with this investment, we're going to bring them home to build Manitoba hydro projects, to build transmission projects, to build generating projects, to power our low-carbon economy with good-paying, blue-collar jobs.
Montreal police say that 2 Jewish schools in the city were hit overnight by gunshots. Staff members discovered bullet holes on the exterior of the building when they arrived this morning. Police say that nobody was inside the building at the time of the shootings. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau reacted to the shootings today, saying that Canadians must denounce violent anti-Semitism in the strongest terms. Here is the audio from the Canadian Press.
Right now, while this conflict and crisis rages in the Middle East, Canadians have an opportunity and therefore a responsibility to look to be there for each other. Not to necessarily agree. Our diversity includes diversity of perspectives and opinions, but not to hate.
The shootings follow 2 Jewish institutions in Montreal that were hit by firebombs earlier this week, as well as a separate altercation at Concordia University between groups of students. Montreal police say that they are increasing patrols around schools and religious buildings because of the unrest. There has been an update on the Israel-Hamas war as the White House says Israel has agreed to do 4-hour daily pauses in Gaza fighting to allow civilians to flee. Karen Travers with ABC has more.
The White House says Israel agreeing to a daily 4-hour pause in strikes on areas of northern Gaza is a, quote, step in the right direction. National Security spokesman John Kirby told reporters Thursday the pause will allow for more humanitarian aid into localized areas in Gaza and could provide enough of a window of time to help civilians get to safety. As for the hostages held by Hamas,
it could also provide brief windows of opportunity for safe passage for those hostages from where they're being held to safer ground.
Karen Travers, ABC News, Washington.
Global Affairs Canada says 32 more Canadians were able to leave the Gaza Strip for Egypt today after a key border crossing reopened. Tuesday was the first day about 75 Canadian citizens were able to leave the territory since the war began about a month ago. Blood donors are in high demand. Our reporter Aaliyah Andres has more on why this is.
Like many services affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, blood donations saw a sharp decrease in donors. With blood only having a 42-day shelf life, donors are consistently in demand in blood types across the board. Community Development Manager Craig Nielsen with the Canadian Blood Services says this year alone, thousands of donors are in demand to replace those who can no longer donate.
Each year we're looking for, well, this year specifically, we're looking for over 100,000 new donors, and this is not only from residual effects of COVID, but just, new donors replacing people that are reaching other points of their life that might not be able to donate anymore.
Nielsen notes that men are able to donate blood approximately every 65 days and women every 84 days. Aaliyah Andres, 1680, The Crow.
The Festival of Lights is returning for the Sikh community this weekend. BCIT reporter Jagraj Lali has more.
The Ross Sikh Temple in Vancouver will illuminate Diwali night this Sunday with candles and oil lamps, maintaining a long-standing tradition. Diwali will continue to hold various meanings for different communities, with Sikhs celebrating Bandi Chhor Divas to mark Guru Hargobind Sahib's release from a Mughal prison. The temple will persist in embracing the Sikh principle of seva by offering free langar meals, uniting people regardless of their backgrounds. As Diwali night approaches, Jagdeep Sanghera, Vice President of the Ross Sikh Temple, says the temple will be running langar seva all day thanks to dedicated volunteers.
We are very fortunate. We have a team of volunteers that come out on these special occasions where the free kitchen and langar is served throughout the day, starting in the morning till late in the evening. And that could only be managed by great volunteers, youth volunteers, families, and the ladies coming out cooking a meal together.
Sanghera and the executive committee of the Ross Sikh Temple will be among the thousands present on Sunday evening. Jagraj Lali, 1680, The Crow.
Over to sports, it's a historic time for Canadian tennis as Canada fires into the Billie Jean Cup by Gainbridge semifinals. This will be the very first time since 1988, thanks to Marina Stakucic winning her match today and yesterday, as well as Leila Fernandez chalking up another victory today against Poland. Stakucic spoke to reporters about persevering after dropping the opening set. Here's the Canadian Press with the clip.
I think the main thing was just for me to keep fighting and keep pushing and keep trying to find a solution and try to get into the zone, because when I feel like I'm in the zone, I feel like I can play really, really well.
Looking to hockey, the Vancouver Canucks are trying for their 5th win in a row tonight when they take on the Senators in Ottawa at 4 p.m. Then at 7:30 tonight, the Oilers have a shot to end their 3-game losing streak when they visit the San Jose Sharks. The Oilers have had a troubling start this season. The Sharks have had an even worse start, but they are coming off their first win of the season. That was on Tuesday against Philadelphia. In the NBA, the Toronto Raptors won their game yesterday against the Dallas Mavericks, giving them a 2-game sweep in Texas. The final score was set 127 and 116. Pascal Siakam had 31 points and 12 rebounds. Anunoby scored 26. Here's the call on TSN 1050 as Anunoby makes a dunk assisted by Scotty Barnes for a 106 and 95 lead in the fourth quarter.
Anunoby down the baseline. OG cleared for takeoff in Big D. 106.95. 2 hands for safety.
The Milwaukee Bucks visit the Indiana Pacers tonight. The Bucks have turned things around after a sluggish start to the season. They're currently 5-2 after posting 3 straight wins. In NFL news, the Pro Football Focus has named Toronto's Argonauts quarterback Chad Kelly as its Canadian Football League MVP. The American analytics company graded CFL players this past season, and Kelly is also a finalist for the CFL's Outstanding Player Award after winning 15 of his 16 starts with the first-place Toronto. Over in soccer, CF Montreal has fired head coach Hernan Lasanda and assistant coach Sebastian Sieti a few weeks after the Major League Soccer team finished 2 points short of the playoff cut line. Montreal finished 10th in the Eastern Conference this past season with 41 points. For the weather today, we're sitting at 7 degrees with a high of 10 today. Thank you for listening to 1680 The Crow. I'm Jocelyn Chappelle, and those were your 3 p.m. news headlines.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikakane.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretnero.
And I'm Radhika Sikakane. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.
Hello, and welcome to For the Record. I'm your host, Aaliyah Andres. Blood donations are a crucial part of Canada's lifeline, but when it comes to how many people know their blood type and how that relates to donation numbers, it's common for people to have little knowledge. Today I'll be speaking with Craig Nielsen, a Community Development Manager of Canadian Blood Services. We'll be chatting about the importance of knowing your blood type and how it can benefit your health. My first question is, what type of blood types are there for people who don't know? And for people who don't know, which ones are compatible with each other?
Yeah, absolutely. So this can be a long-winded question, so I'll try to give the most generic answer here. Everybody has a blood type, as we all know. You're going to belong to one of four, which is either O, A, B, or AB. And then the additional factor on top of that, as most people know, is the RH factor, which determines whether your type is positive or negative. So within each of those blood types, there's various compatibility. I think the one that most people will relate to and know the most, because they've probably heard either from us or their doctor or just general history about O negative. Only 7% of Canadians have O negative blood or share this blood type, but it's a small percentage. It can have a huge impact. And O negative, again, most people know because it can you can give it to anybody. So an O negative blood type, any other blood type can receive O negative. O negative blood types and patients themselves can only receive O negative themselves, but they can give it to anybody. So when we're talking about critical emergency situations, especially in emergency rooms, that's the type of blood that's going to get used, and that's something that we always refer to as the most critical blood and the blood that will be used in emergency situations.
Second question that kind of relates very closely is what are some important reasons that people should know what their blood type is, other than if you need blood, you're going to need to know, or it's probably helpful to know which one you're going to need. But are there any things relating to eating specifically for your diet, or that your blood type can be linked to hereditary family traits that may affect you down the line, or even for when you go in to donate blood as well? Is there any kind of things that people should know in regards to that?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, when it comes to personal health, that's a conversation that you'd want to have with your doctor, and they can give advice on, exactly why it would be important to know your blood type in certain situations, whether it be dietary situations or, knowing it for your family situation. If, a family member needed a transfusion or transplant or something, so you would know if you were compatible in terms of just pure blood typing. The great thing is about donating blood for the first time, if you've never donated before, that is a free way to find out your blood type, unless you have a specific appointment or reason to visit your doctor or the clinic and get your blood drawn. But yeah, for donating blood, you download our app, our Give Blood app, or go through blood.ca, and then once you register in and donate for the first time, that app tracks all your information, including all of your donations and your blood type as well.
But for people who cannot donate blood, whether they don't, I know that you need to be a certain weight, you need to have a certain number of platelets in your blood. So if somebody doesn't meet those requirements, what is another way that they're able to find out what blood type they have, whether that be for personal interest or for medical records or things like that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say probably the easiest way, again, is to talk to your doctor to determine, if you need a blood test for a specific reason. I couldn't speak to if, doctors, medical associations will just do that for strictly a blood type, or for blood typing, that is. So I'm not 100% sure there. Again, that's why we promote donating blood as a way to learn it for free. But of course, if you can't donate because of some specific reason, then you'll have to go another way. So I would say, being able to talk to your doctor about it to see if you need a blood test for some specific reason. Unfortunately, Canadian Blood Services used to do blood typing events back in the day, but we don't do them, unfortunately, anymore. COVID kind of put the nail in the coffin for that in terms of just logistically and we just couldn't run them as much anymore. So we decided just to promote it in the sense that if you donate blood, you'll learn your blood type. So to be honest, I'm not sure if there's any other way besides booking an appointment through your doctor, through a place like Life Labs, but I know in most instances you would need, a reason to do that. There are other ways to donate. If you are not eligible to donate whole blood, of course, you can donate plasma. We're starting to open plasma-specific centers, which some people that have deferrals for whole blood donation will still be able to donate plasma. You can become part of different parts of our organization like that, whether it be blood, plasma, stem cells, organ and tissue, and I believe many of those ways to get involved, there'll be an opportunity to gain your blood type through there.
I see. That's terrific. And you really quickly just mentioned COVID. It kind of put a halt on donors. Are you still, is Canadian Blood Services still seeing a decrease in blood donors since the pandemic? Maybe people are still a little bit wary of going into a medical appointment or getting their blood taken, or maybe they think that they've been impacted by the virus and so that they can't donate blood. Have you been seeing any things like that lately?
Yeah, I would say that we still are seeing some of the residual from it. But, I will say on the opposite side, there's been some great response. A lot of businesses, a lot of organizations. We have our Partners for Life program that we still run, of course. And personally here, at least within the regions that I take care of, a lot of people are coming back, getting back out into doing initiatives together and organizing blood drives and getting their friends, family, colleagues together to do it. So I would say, yeah, at least there's light at the end of the tunnel, and we are at that point. Even though we saw thousands and thousands of donors drop off throughout COVID. But we're getting back to, and that's kind of the key there is, even COVID aside, not to, take that lightly in any way, shape, or form. But even if COVID wasn't a thing, we still need more donors to come out and donate and join Canada's Lifeline. Each year we're looking for, this year specifically, we're looking for over 100,000 new donors. And this is not only from residual effects of COVID, but just, new donors, replacing people that are reaching other points of their life that might not be able to donate anymore. So we need new and upcoming donors to kind of replace them as well. And just always need more people to come out. And that's the key. And, more donors, new donors, and a more diversified donor base as well will help for patients that need these products.
And I'm wondering why it's so common in Canada for people, or for most people, to not know their blood type until they go and donate or find out some other way.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's definitely a kind of funny thing to think about how, we know so many other things about ourselves, but obviously blood type isn't one of the most common ones. I think there's a number of reasons behind it. Again, from a lens perspective of Canadian Blood Services, I think it kind of falls hand in hand as to what I was previously talking about with just getting new people to come out and be donors. Of all eligible Canadians, so everybody living in Canada, about 50% are eligible to donate blood. So, we got X amount of millions of people that are eligible. Of that 50%, only 4% actually do. So realistically, about 4% of Canadians are sustaining the blood system right now. And so that's, a number that we're trying to increase. And that's the reason we really want more people to come out and donate and join the Lifeline. So I think that kind of reflects the side of people knowing their blood type as well. If only 4% of people are donating, and I would hope that the other, 46% of eligible people don't need blood on a regular basis, or don't have procedures and are healthy, then they're not gonna have any reason to either go find out their blood type, or if they're not donating, they're not gonna find out their blood type. So I think that kind of speaks volumes to why. So I think if more people were to join the Lifeline and donate blood and help patients in need, that would increase. So it's something that I think everybody can try to at least do a few times a year, because again, it can be part of a healthy lifestyle, donating blood. I just ran into someone the other day that says they donate every 2 months, like religiously, because they have high blood iron levels, and so they just need that iron to get out of their body, essentially. So they donate blood because of it. So it can definitely lead to part of a healthy lifestyle if you donate on a regular basis.
That concludes our episode today on For the Record. I'm Aaliyah Andres. Make sure to check out more episodes produced by our BCIT students right here on 1680 The Crow.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikakane.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretanero.
And I'm Radhika Sikakane. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.
From the Broadcast Center at BCIT's Burnaby Campus, this is All Talk Radio. You're listening to 1680 The Crow.
Welcome to your 3:30 news. I'm Melanie Levesque, and this is 1680 The Crow. This morning, a bus smashed into a home in Burnaby near Canada Way. The bus was carrying high school students, and 11 teenagers were taken to hospital in stable condition after the crash. The bus driver was unharmed, and the teenagers were picked up by their parents after being assessed at the hospital. A large crowd of Rogers technicians gathered outside of the company's tower in Vancouver today to protest. BCIT reporter Jake McGraw has more.
The chants from the locked out workers were loud and continuous as they marched around the base of Rogers Tower in downtown Vancouver. There is currently no set date for when negotiations will resume. United Steelworkers staff representative Jason Little says what's particularly drawn the ire of the USW is Rogers allegedly bringing in temporary workers to continue to do maintenance and service jobs.
They are continuing to go in people's homes in Vancouver, Surrey, Langley, Richmond, and Burnaby. If you have anybody coming into your home or business, they are a scab worker.
Rogers said in a statement yesterday that to continue operations, they are, quote, redeploying employees and contractors, end quote. Jake McGrail, 1680 The Crow.
In South Vancouver, the Sikh community is gathering to prepare for the yearly Diwali festival. BCIT reporter Jagraj Lali has more.
At the Ross Sikh Temple, Diwali isn't just about the beautiful lights and the historical significance, it's about the power of community coming together. As the Festival of Lights approaches, the Ross Sikh Temple in Vancouver expects up to 5,000 people to gather for Diwali night. What makes the celebration unique is the way the community contributes to the langar, a selfless service that serves food to all. Jagdeep Sangira, Vice President of Ross Sikh Temple, highlights the incredible community support.
We're very fortunate that our thriving Sikh community locally in Vancouver come out without even being asked to make a donation. They come out, contribute, make cash donations, and also either bringing in food.
Diwali is this upcoming Sunday, with services beginning at the temple around 5 p.m. Jagraj Lali, 1680 The Crow.
Montreal's mayor is asking citizens to be calm after 2 empty Jewish schools were hit with gunshots overnight. Mayor Valérie Plante reminded Montreal residents to treat each other with respect despite differences in opinion about the war in the Middle East. She also condemned those that commit violent acts.
You will answer for your actions. This is not who we are here in Montreal. We will not accept it. Every violent and hateful event will be investigated by the SPVM, which spares no efforts to keep our metropolis safe.
James Dylan Stanford, a 35-year-old man from Kamloops, has been sentenced to 4 years in jail for the fatal stabbing of a 34-year-old man outside a motel. The jury convicted Stanford for manslaughter and determined the single fatal stab wound was the result of several weeks of concerning behavior toward Stanford, his girlfriend, and their pets who lived in one of the motel's rooms. This morning, BC's Green Party leader, Sonia Furstenau, announced that she would be removing the party's deputy leader, Sivaj Gandhi. This decision was made due to Gandhi liking a social media post comparing Dr. Bonnie Henry to a Nazi doctor. In a recent statement, Gandhi says he liked the post by accident. Before being removed, Gandhi was set to run in the 2024 election for the seat in the Vancouver Renfrew riding. Now for weather. Right now in Vancouver, it is 9 degrees Celsius with mostly cloudy skies. Through the rest of the week, there will be showers with a high of 10 degrees and a low of 6 degrees. That's all for your 3:30 news today. I'm Melanie Levesque, and this is 1680 The Crow.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikakane.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretanero.
And I'm Radhika Sikakane. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.